The graphic sequence incorporates moving textures, geometric shapes, and text. Here's how it was built. The background was created by using various sources, such as time-lapse clouds, to create icons. These icons were used to shade a very simple graphic sweep. The next layer is comprised of geometric shapes. Again, various simple sweeps, paintbox fills were used with matte sources and combined over the background. The next layer incorporates the time-lapse clouds again. This time we color corrected them so they have a different feel. We use another matte source to create this third layer. Finally, text is composited over the whole thing. Again, a simple paintbox fill and a matte are used to produce the final.
In creating the editing sequence, we first and foremost wanted to convey the message that there were a number of editing applications to choose from on the SGI platform, like Avid's Media Suite Pro and, in this case, Flint. To do that, we chose a film strip and a montage sequence. We first digitized over 8,000 frames of video using the ACOM Workstation disk in integrated video. We transferred the frames over to the Onyx Reality Engine, where we all had complete access to these frames for the duration of the project. Dave would use them for creating texture maps, Jeff would be using them to create 2D animations in Paint, and I would be rotoscoping. Here's an example of how we would use Flint to perform an edit. I simply select the final frame of my first clip here in the countdown sequence, followed by the final frame in my second clip here, the bridge sequence. I've just performed an edit. I can now play this down with a scratch track of audio. There's my edit. The great thing about Flint is this is just one of the 6 modules. I have all the processing effects capability that I have on the Flame system, and this is running on the Indigo 2, which takes advantage of the built-in audio hardware.
I composed the music in my home MIDI studio, and then I mastered it, mixed it down to this DAT tape. And I can take the DAT tape, plug it into one of the Silicon Graphics systems, and read that file into the system in digital format. From then on, I can deal with that sound inside the system along with the video. This program is called DATman. This allows me to read what's on this DAT tape and place it into memory in a file. Just play a little bit of that. So using that process, I recorded the whole soundtrack in. Then I used a program called Sound Editor, which allows us to both view the waveforms of the sound and play it back and make specific cuts or edits. At the same time, on the same platform, I can have the visuals running as well. And we can play the music. So using these tools, I can then decide where the music needs to be cut to match up with the visuals, because I can see the visuals and I have the music here as well as the editing tool for that. And to make an edit, I simply mark a section just as I would with a word processor and hit the edit command for cutting. And that section is gone. Now the music, we've cut about 2 seconds out of that. So
We brought audio into the Indigo 2 in 3 various ways. First off was the DAT that Roger pointed out. Second, now I'm using the Aware sound effects. I have over 7 hours of audio, digital audio on this one CD. And the third way is over the network, directly from the Mac. It's simply drag and drop the audio file onto the SGI icon, and you have your audio file here in a matter of seconds.
The Space Invader type scene is a pretty good example of compositing. It's created by blending a lot of different elements from a lot of different sources. The background, for example, started off as a stock footage shot. I was able to take all the camera shake out of the footage, color correct it, and lengthen it to the correct length to produce this background. Some of the elements in the scene were actually 3D. For instance, the moon, these buildings, and this little plane that flies out of the building here were created in 3D programs. One of the things I like about this platform is that you're able to write files to disk with something called an alpha channel. An alpha channel is basically a mat that's embedded in the picture file. So instead of having to deal with a separate mat and a separate fill, you deal with one file that's got both. That cuts down the time it takes to composite things. It also cuts down the amount of storage space that you need to work with. The UFO is a blue screen element, just a model shot against blue screen. The explosions, again, are stock footage. These were composited over the scene with something called a non-additive mix. And the photon blast is just a very simple paint element that was created in Flame with its mat. And there it is.
Beyond addressing the main areas of 3D, paint, compositing, editing, and audio, we also wanted to have some fun with the software and sort of show the range of creative freedom you have. So the end section is really about that, about pushing the tools and seeing how far you can go with them.
I think what sums up the Silicon Studio concept and why we put in the tagline, if you can dream it, you can do it, is that once you have an SGI machine and some third-party software, you should be able to create pretty much anything you can visualize or dream of.